is a beautiful early May evening in downtown St. Louis. We're at Busch Stadium for Chicago Cubs baseball here on Comcast Sportsnet. The Cubs take on the team with the best record in all of baseball, the 18-6 Cardinals. Great to have you with us. Jim Deshaies, Len Casper with you. This is the start of a 7-game trip, 4 here and then 3 in Milwaukee. And all of a sudden the bats have gotten a little cold here over the last 4 games or so.
Yeah, and the timing couldn't be worse because they're facing a St. Louis Cardinal pitching staff that is really, really good. The best ERA in the National League.
You see what the Cubs did in April, scoring over 5 runs a game, but it's not been good here lately. You see the Cubs have dropped 3 of their last 4, not hitting the ball with authority with the wind blowing out the last couple of days. And as you said, it's going to be hard to score runs against this Cardinal staff. That means Travis Wood has to be very good tonight.
Oh, yeah, and Travis Wood has been very good so far this year. He's made 4 starts. He's 2-1. Was really good last time out against the Pirates. Worked 7 innings, struck out 9, did not allow a walk. In his last 3, he's 2-0 with a 2.37 earned run average. He has not had a lot of luck here in this ballpark.
Adam Wainwright done for the year for the Cardinals, but everybody else in the rotation continuing to do well, including Carlos Martinez.
Yeah, just 23 years of age, a kid we've seen a number of times out of the bullpen. This will be his first start against the Cubs. He's off to a very nice start, 3-0 with a 1.73 earned run average. That's good for 4th best in the NL.
These two teams split a 2-game series that was shortened by rain at Wrigley Field to start the year. The Cardinals have rattled off 7 series wins since. The Cubs will try to end their 6-game winning streak next.
America Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Low 80s, clear skies above, and a great night for baseball. Big crowd gathering as the Cubs and the Cardinals renew this long-standing rivalry. Let's get tonight's umpires. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, will work home plate. Bill Welke's at first, DJ Rayburn at second, and Chicago native John Tumpane over at third. If tonight's Cubs leadoff man gets a hit, Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to Make-A-Wish, Illinois. And as we look in on the Cubs Southwest starting lineup, the Cubs leadoff man is Dexter Fowler. He'll be followed by Chris Coghlan in left. Anthony Rizzo is at first, leads the big leagues in getting on base. Chris Bryant, his first game against the Cardinals. Miguel Montero is heating up, average up to 283. Starlin Castro's at short. Chris Denorfia in. Jorge Soler getting his first night off of the season. Travis Wood, the pitcher, hits eighth, and rookie Addison Russell will bat ninth.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals defensively this evening. Holiday J and Jason Hayward. He's a newcomer out there in right. Very good defensive outfielder. There's Mr. Hayward. Infield of Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Reynolds. And Yadier Molina gets a day off. Tony Cruz will do the catching tonight. And the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for Mike Matheny's Cardinals is 23-year-old right-hander Carlos Martinez. And he's off to a very good start, 3-0 with a 1.73 ERA. Draws comparisons to Pedro Martinez. Not a real big guy, but he's got a big right arm, a fastball that will top out at 98 miles an hour. He'll sit comfortably around 94. Two-seamer and a four-seamer. Gets a lot of ground ball outs. Slider, change, and every now and then a curveball from Martinez.
Each team won one ball game at Wrigley Field in early April to start the season. One game was washed out. Both games we did play ended up in shutouts. So here is Dexter Fowler. And as we get started, we got to give a shout out to Carson Sestouli from Fangraphs in the Nerd Game Scores for tonight. He's got us at number one. Fastball in there for a strike. As he writes, devised originally in response to a challenge issued by Viscount of the Internet, Rob Nyer. Nerd scores represent an attempt to summarize in one number the likely aesthetic appeal or watchability for the learned fan of a game. Martinez working quickly. So the most highly rated game is this one, and one of the main reasons is tonight's Cardinal starter. And where he sits with that fastball, a couple of notches below where he was as a reliever, but as you mentioned, he could comfortably get it up into the mid-90s, but he's getting people out. Yeah, some easier gas, I guess.
Yeah, not a big guy, as I mentioned, 6 feet tall, $185, but that doesn't really mean a whole lot when it comes to being able to throw a baseball fast. There's a changeup, I believe, at 88.
Just off the outside, 3-2.
The nerds would tell you, but that ERA's got to come up because the batting average in balls in play is really low. So he's due for some bad luck.
Ball four to get us started. Mike Matheny looks on. Can't have much more success than he has had to begin his managerial career. This is his fourth season. They've been to the playoffs each of his first 3 years.
Yeah, well, he inherited a very good team, a very deep organization. Not to say that he hasn't done a good job, but he landed in a very good spot. On one level, the other piece of it, of course, he's replacing the great, or he replaced the great Tony La Russa, so not the easiest footsteps to follow.
Cardinals 18-6, best record in baseball. They just swept the Pirates, winning all 3 games in extra innings. Best run differential in the National League at +40.
That was quick feet. That'll get your attention over there at first base. Yeah, 2.21 team ERA. That's the best. Starters 2.59. That's the best. So the bullpen also was the best ERA in the league at 1.51. They have not scored a lot of runs. 9th in the National League in runs scored. It's been mostly about the pitching.
Enough about them. What do you think about me? Having said all that, and I know Joe Madden's view of the baseball season is no one game is more important than any other. He really values the consistency. Doesn't want his guys to get too high or too low, but you have to feel like a few of these Cub players look at this maybe as a measuring stick. That's inside.
Well,
Coughlin 1-1.
So the way the players look at it, if the Cubs come in here and win 3 out of 4, they're going to say we made a statement. We can prove to ourselves and the Cardinals that we can play with them. If they come in here and lose 3 out of 4, they're going to say it's just a 4-game series in May. It doesn't matter any more than the games coming up against Milwaukee. So that's part of the player spin mentality, and it's understandable.
Good lead by Fowler. Outside, Martinez.
Wow,
really wanted that pitch.
Yeah, that's it's not going to go over real well with John Hirschbeck, that body language. Let's see. Let's check our Menards pitch tracker. Outside. John Hirschbeck is locked in back there.
3-1. So he walked the leadoff man, and he's behind Coughlin.
Okay, so decision time for Joe Madden. You got a ground ball pitcher on the mound. He's likely going to throw a sinker here, which is a ground ball pitch for him. He's got that look. Should I start him or not? Start the runner, stay out of double play.
Not going. Ball 4.
Because he didn't want to run the risk of the pitcher having a hard time finding the strike zone, so he didn't have Fowler on the move.
An early visit by the manager, not the pitching coach.
Yeah, that one could have been.
And it may have been because of the reaction more than anything else. Just don't worry about the umpire. Get locked in.
Yeah, and it may be let me pick this battle for you, and he may wait for Hirschbeck to come out and just say, hey, John, don't hold it against my guy. Those pretty good-looking pitches. That's a meeting that probably doesn't take place if Yadier or Molina is catching, because Molina would have taken care of it already.
So let's see if the Cubs here can take advantage of some early wildness, as they have Anthony Rizzo at the plate, 2 on, nobody out. Leading the majors with his .471 on base percentage, and ball 1. Fans just getting settled in. Long pause before the 1-0.
A little slider, couldn't find the strike zone with that either. Now it's time to get greedy if you're Anthony Rizzo. Anthony very discerning when it comes to swinging the bat. He and Matt Carpenter, the Cardinals' third baseman, among the league leaders in that regard. They don't swing unless it's in there.
Slicing drive down the left field line will twist to the seats out of play. 2-1. It has not gone well in this ballpark for the Cubs recently. 11-26 here over the last 4 seasons. Obviously, the Cubs haven't been very good overall, while the Cardinals have. And throw to second. And Fowler back in plenty of time.
Not a bad idea by Peralta to sneak in there, try to help out his pitcher a little bit, who's having a tough go of it here in the first inning.
Well, just by sheer volume of extra innings the Cardinals have played, you know the Cubs want to get into that bullpen as quickly as they can tonight. And they're making Martinez work here in the first inning. Pitch number 15 coming, and a foul out of play.
Yeah, I don't think that's a message that a manager delivers to his pitcher, especially a young pitcher like Martinez. You don't want a guy thinking too much out there. Just go out and do your thing. But you know Matheny's hoping that Martinez can be efficient here tonight, and so far he's been anything but.
Rizzo clearly shortening up with 2 strikes. Chris Bryant on deck. He and Addison Russell participating in this Cubs-Cardinals rivalry for the first time. Punched in the air. Holiday with a pretty easy play, and that's out number 1. And here is Bryant. Hot start, but hitting under 200 over his last 10 games. Jorge Soler getting a mental break tonight, and if Bryant continues to struggle, we may see him get a day off here on this road trip.
Yeah, and Soler actually in the last couple of games swung the bat pretty well. He's starting to bounce back a little bit from his rough patch, and I think Joe Maddon just wants to allow him to sit on that for a night against this, take this night off against this tough right-hander. Build on what he's done over the last 2 or 3 days.
As JD mentioned, Martinez off to a hot start. 4th best ERA in the National League at 173.
League batting 185 against him. He's allowed 4 home runs in 26 innings coming into the start. He had walked 10, so the walk rate a little higher than league average. 2 so far here tonight.
And he's behind yet again. He's been behind every batter he's faced. Where's number 18? You see OT for Oscar Taveras on the sleeve, but he also wears number 18 in honor of the late Taveras, his friend and teammate who died in a car accident in the Dominican last October. See if Bryant gets a pitch to his liking here on a 2-0. Nope, 3 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, Martinez you could just tell by watching his body language out there. He's very frustrated, a little bit with the umpire, but I think mostly with himself, just not able to find the strike zone. Got good life on his fastball, good action on that sinking fastball, but just can't find the zone.
Well, 3-1.
I would say that was a little bit of a Bronx cheer from the Cardinal fans, but they're too earnest here. That was probably a legitimate cheer.
Ball 4 to load him up.
Bryant wasn't sure.
Well, you got a veteran umpire back at the plate. Is this a case of because he's missed a lot, he's just not getting the borderline calls?
He may be, he might be just in kind of a groove behind the plate. A guy starts to miss, and I think umpires start to anticipate ball.
Well, maybe the hottest Cub hitter here lately is Miguel Montero, 9 for his last 19. His average has gone up over 100 points the last 5 games. And he takes ball 1 low. Maybe a pivotal moment in this game right off the bat, as the Cubs try to hang a crooked number on Martinez here in the first inning. Line drive, base hit. Fowler scores. Coughlin around third. The throw's going to go toward third. Miguel Montero makes it 2-0 Cubs.
Montero now 10 out of his last 20. He's locked in. Good low fastball hitter. He's a pretty good matchup against Martinez. It's a low fastball, and he jumped all over it. 95 miles an hour. Spanked into center by Montero.
You love to convert walks. 3 in the inning. 2 of them have scored. And it'll bring up Starlin Castro, coming off consecutive hitless games for the first time this season. First and second, and a strike call. Castro 0 for 6 in his career against Martinez. That ball served into center. It'll get down. Bryant around third. It's 3-0. All 3 walks have scored.
Boy, this is the last thing Mike Matheny wanted to see tonight, with all the work his bullpen had to do over the weekend against the Pirates. Early ambush by the Cubs.
Yeah, and on just about any other night, still only 1 out here in the first, and a starter nearing 30 pitches. Matheny might consider getting somebody up in the bullpen, but I don't think he will tonight.
He's got 9 guys out there. You know, they've been rode hard here lately. I'm assuming Trevor Rosenthal, his closer, is not available tonight.
Cubs are trying to take care of that issue right off the bat, and not even have it be a safe situation. Chris Denorfia takes a strike.
Yeah, you know, in the NBA they talk a lot about knowing how to lose, you know, how to save your energy if you're getting beat. You know, late in the ball game, a coach might not push too hard if you're down 14 points or something like that. I don't know that that thinking necessarily applies in baseball, but there does come a time where you ask a starting pitcher, hey pal, you got to suck it up and give me some innings, even though you're getting knocked around.
2-1 on Denorfia, the 7th batter of the inning. The starting pitcher is on deck, Travis Wood. So hoping to get a plate appearance before he throws a pitch. Ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Montero being set. He's going to score without a throw. It's 4-0. 3 walks, 3 hits here in the first.
A club that had really been struggling to score runs comes in against the team with the best ERA in baseball. And sure enough, 4 spot on the board in the first and looking for more. We were talking to Joe Madden this afternoon. He said he liked this matchup. He liked Denorfia's chances in this game tonight.
Well, he's pushed all the right buttons to date. 7 batters in. And now it is Travis Wood. And Reynolds is in at first, guarding against a possible bunt, but I don't think Joe's thinking bunt. Not with Wood. Inside. Martinez has to prove he can throw strikes, and I don't think you want to give him an out.
No, look at me out there shaking his head.
1-1.
A little regression to the mean, perhaps, tonight. Martinez coming in with that sparkling ERA. He had not allowed more than 2 runs in any of his 4 starts.
I think you should make up a regression to the mean T-shirt. I'd wear it.
I'll make a couple phone calls.
Travis Wood with a base hit. Castro being set. Here comes the throw by Holiday. It's cut off by Martinez in front of the mound. It's 5-0. Everybody getting involved.
And now there is action in the Cardinal bullpen. You don't want to get this young guy bruised that much. It's our old buddy Carlos Villanueva warming up. Cruz sitting off that outside corner. That fastball catches a good chunk of home plate, and a good solid swing by Travis Wood. Picks up his 2nd RBI of the year.
Bounce to third off the bat of Russell. They'll get 1, but not 2 as Russell beat it out. Mike Matheny may want to challenge the call.
It looks like he's not going to challenge. And hey, you know what? Cubs just batted around.
They either have batted around or they will bat around when Fowler.
They're about to right now.
Yeah. Actually, I don't mind the result of that play because you get the starting pitcher back in the dugout before he has to do what his main job is, and that's to get people out. Ball 1 to Fowler. He got this game started with a free pass. Strike called. It's 1-1. Boy, this is looking to be about a 40-pitch inning. Number 38 is on the way. 1-2.
One of the better pitches. You saw the sequence getting a little better. That fastball down and away, pretty good pitch, and then the changeup. That's a challenge, boy, for a pitcher. You wait 5 days to get out there and you get ambushed like this early. It's tough to stay mentally engaged.
He had allowed 5 runs total in his first 26 innings this season, and he's been touched for 5 already here tonight. He's only recorded 2 outs. Well, his Cubs hitters are just not giving in. Russell goes on the 3-2, and we will do it again. But the Cardinals gave up 4 this weekend.
Yeah,
against the Pirates.
They won 3 consecutive extra inning games, 2-1, 2-1, and 3-2. Walk-off home run by Colton Wong yesterday.
This should do it. John Jay makes a catch. Boy, did they make Carlos Martinez work. It's 5-0 with the Cardinals coming up. 5-0. Here's their Southwest starting lineup. John Jay bats left-handed with big numbers against Travis Wood in his career. Matt Carpenter off to another fantastic start. Matt Holliday hitting .321. Johnny Peralta is going to hit in the cleanup spot. Mark Reynolds in for Matt Adams. Jason Hayward in right. Colton Wong won the game yesterday over the Pirates with a late home run. Cruz the catcher, and we'll see if Martinez takes his at bat after 42 pitches in the first.
And the Cubs defensively, an outfield alignment of Coghlan, Fowler, and Denorfia tonight. Bryant Castro, Russell, Rizzo. Third to first. Montero behind the plate. Lexus pursuing starting pitcher for the Cubs tonight. Travis Wood, 2-1, 3.04, 5-6 lifetime with an ERA of 5 and change against the Cardinals.
There's the 0-1 to Jay. It's a strike. 0-2.
Here are the numbers on Travis Wood. 4 starts, mostly good. Overall, the numbers very good. 26 strikeouts. The walks are down, just 6 allowed so far, and that just hit John Jay.
Yeah, on an 0-2 pitch, we nicked him. Doesn't matter how hard you hit a guy, if you hit him at all, it counts.
The Cardinals are in the, any way you can get on, try to create some traffic mode right now, down by 5 early. They don't hit a lot of balls out of the ballpark. They do hit for average, and they'll take their walks.
So in the past, this is the kind of night where you have told me as a starting pitcher in Travis Wood's position, one thought is, I've won this game.
Yes. Yeah, you feel like you've won the ball game. This should be a win for me tonight, and then the challenge is to pitch as deep into the ball game as possible and save the bullpen.
Carpenter already has 14 doubles and 16 games of at least 2 hits.
Hitting .365. He's also gone deep 4 times. And as I mentioned, like Rizzo, he's very discerning. Works a lot of deep counts. Doesn't chase much.
And he pops one up on the infield. Rizzo in front of the mound for out number 1. Carpenter began the year in the leadoff spot, but here lately has been batting second, and that'll bring up another Matt. Mr. Holliday.
Most pitchers immediately yield on that ball and look for one of the corner infielders, but Travis Wood likes to make plays. It's against his nature not to go ahead and call that and try to make the play himself.
Holliday drills this one out into the alley. And it'll end up in the bullpen, so that'll be a book rule double. And Jay has to stop at third. So 2 in scoring position now for Johnny Peralta.
Boy, how many times have we seen this over the year? Matt Holliday leaning on a pitch down and away. Middle away, he is so good, so strong driving the ball the other way. Typically the Cubs try to pitch him in, try to get in on his hands, and that might have been the game plan, try to throw strike 1 and then crowd him with cutters. Holliday didn't let it happen, attacking that first pitch.
Johnny Peralta, and that ball mishandled by Montero. Another block by Montero. Well, it's Cubs-Cardinals. The Cardinals have 4 former Cubs on their coaching staff. There are 3 of them, left to right. Bill Miller, the assistant hitting coach. John Mabry, the hitting coach. David Bell, the bench coach. And Blaze Ilsley is out in the bullpen. Low again.
We have a developing situation here.
If you don't remember, Blaze Illsley, 10 games in relief for the 1994 Chicago Cubs. Yeah, Wood needs to get back into this at bat here, but he doesn't, and they are loaded.
Well, they're loaded, and with a very dangerous hitter coming up in Mark Reynolds. Reynolds hasn't done a whole lot this year. He hasn't had that many at bats. That one just slides off the outside corner and down. Cardinals have not seen a lot of left-handed pitching this year. 4 games started by lefties against the Cardinals. They're 2-2. They only hit .227 against left-handed pitching. So, you know, we talked about, you feel like you've won the game when you're spotted 5 early. You don't carry that thought with you throughout your outing. You go out there and you attack hitters one at a time, but you just feel like, once you get that big lead, you feel like, okay, this is my responsibility to make this hold up.
Uh-oh, that's crushed and gone. A grand slam, and it's 5-4. And we're in the first inning. Mr. 3 true outcomes, Mark Reynolds with a big blow.
It's kind of been his story throughout his career. Yeah, he strikes out a lot, but he'll take his walks and he'll do this. Got out in front of that one and a no-doubter into the back of the Cubs bullpen. That's your 4th home run replay, and we got a brand new ball game.
And an early curtain call for Reynolds. And nobody happier about this development than Carlos Martinez. 1 strike on Jason Hayward. A 9-run combined first inning. 5 for the Cubs, 4 by the Cardinals, and they're not done yet. Hayward pulls a single to right.
Mayhem here tonight. What is going on? Hayward has struggled here early in his Cardinal career. And that's not a horrible pitch at all. Up a little bit, but outside part of the play, pulled into right field by Hayward.
Now Colton Wong, who homered in the 14th inning yesterday to beat the Pirates in that sweep. He came up with some big home runs, 3 of them in the postseason last year for the Cardinals. That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now 1-2. Hit, batter, double, walk, grand slam, and then the Hayward single. Cubs sent 10 to the plate in their half of this wild first. Jam shot, little pop up that will cue foul.
Yeah, Wong, not a real big guy, but he's strong, compact.
You know, there are a few fans who ran into traffic and just walked into the ballpark and went, what?
Yeah, I heard all the noise.
5-4 in the first inning.
You know that feeling when you just got into the ballpark and you decide to go for a beverage and you hear all the noise from the fans. You go, what is going on? Of course, in the modern ballpark, right? There's television monitors everywhere.
Those guys were feeling a lot better about this game
Yeah.
About 5 or 6 minutes ago.
If you took the under, you lose.
Not a good throw, but Rizzo able to dig it out of the dirt.
Cardinals don't run a lot. 14 steals. They have not been particularly efficient. They've been caught 8 times. That's a 63% success rate. Hayward is capable. He's 3 for 3 so far this year.
Was that extra protection on the right side of his face after getting beamed a couple of years ago. Foul tip for strike 3 and out number 2. That'll bring up Tony Cruz, a catcher, getting his 4th start. Yadier Molina off to a slow start, hitting .231. He's dealing with some achy knees as well. Sure, we'll see him a lot in this series, however, which runs through Thursday. That one got away from Travis Wood. 1 ball, no strikes. He has faced the Cardinals more than any other team in his career. This is his 17th start. And his 8th in this ballpark.
One must have been a little low.
In case you're wondering, partner, there have been 65 pitches in this first inning. 42 by Martinez, 23 by Wood. There's number 24, and it's 3-0.
Hey, Ross, you want to put another pot of coffee on back there?
Chris Bosio hoping Wood can get it together here. Ball 4, and it will bring up the pitcher, Martinez. As I read their lineup, I said Martinez may not even bat. I had no idea that he would bat in the first inning.
Yeah, well, obviously this rally by the Cardinals in the bottom of the first allows Mike Matheny to keep Martinez in the game and see if he can turn it around and give him some innings.
For 7 this year, 3 out of 21 in his career. Hayward the runner at second, and now Cruz at first. And he shows bunt and takes ball 1. This inning got off to a bad start as Wood hit John Jay on an 0-2 pitch. And here comes Chris Bosio. I'm guessing this is the kind of conversation that we probably could not air in its entirety due to a few blue words that might be uttered by the pitching coach.
Yeah, perhaps, but only in a, you know,
well, in a supportive way. But he's all business.
Yeah, not a, you know, he's probably not out there cracking the one-liners just to get you to relax. But it's more of a pep talk probably.
Big swing by Martinez. 1-1. It might have simply been about being aggressive against the pitcher. One and two.
Yeah, and probably turn it loose, because sometimes you get in a situation like this when a lot of bad things are happening to you, your brain gets in the way of the body because you start thinking about all the negative things that have happened already, and you start to guide the ball a little bit. It's probably more, hey, just pitch, turn it loose, turn the page, forget what's happened, and let's go from here. Appeal to that warrior mentality that Wood has. He's a very competitive guy. He's tough-minded. You haven't seen from him in this inning what we saw from Martinez in the top half with the body language, where the young kid Martinez, the slumped shoulders, the hat pushed up on top of his head, kind of staring into the end. Wood, he continues to compete.
And finally, the inning ends. 19 batters combined and 9 runs in the opening frame. Long on Comcast Sportsnet, brought to you by nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. We'll chat with Patrick on Wednesday, next CSN telecast, but make sure you check out all of his work on csnchicago.com. 5-4 as we start the second inning. Mark Reynolds getting his team right back in the game with a grand slam to the back of the Cubs bullpen. And the Cubs will have Coghlan, Rizzo, and Bryant against Martinez. Travis Wood started the game with a 3.04 ERA. It's up to 4.38 after an inning. Martinez was at 1.73, now up to 3.33.
Martinez trying to assert himself here, working quickly. First 2 pitches, he's gone slider, changeup. He's got new life.
Ground ball foul. The Brewers tonight under their new manager Craig Counsell, trailing at home to the Dodgers in the 6th inning 3-0. Milwaukee with only 1 hit off Clayton Kershaw. That's a tough managerial debut.
Yes, it is.
Going up against Kershaw. Ron Renicky was relieved of his duties, or in other words fired, last night after the Brewers won their first series of the season at Wrigley Field. Counsell, no previous managerial or coaching experience, but a long major league career, well regarded throughout the industry, one of the smartest guys around, and he grew up rooting for the Brewers in nearby Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, as Coghlan didn't like that call.
Well, Carlos Martinez not happy with the strike zone in the first inning from Hirschbeck. I was doing some reading on Hirschbeck, and that's the one spot he has a tendency to be generous off the outside corner and down. So we'll see if this proves to be the case and whether the pitchers can exploit it.
Rizzo gets a hold of one out into deep center. That ball is gone just over the fence, and it's 6-4. Home run number 4 for Anthony Rizzo.
Now, there's a man with a plan when he comes to home plate. That time he decides to be aggressive, matching Martinez. Jumps on that first pitch. And just a little flick of the wrist. That's how strong he is. Straightaway center field, pretty much. For number 4. That's the Ford home run replay. You see the retreating John Jay running out of room.
Meantime, a swinging strike on Chris Bryant, who walked and scored in the first. Now, before that swing, I was just going to say, things have changed so quickly. You feel like this is in the bank, leading 5-0, and then you're leading 5-4, but it feels like you're trailing.
Yeah, I guarantee at the start of this inning, this being the second inning, the feeling in the home dugout a lot better than on the third base side, but Rizzo changes that a little bit with one swing of the bat. But I love the approach by Rizzo. You know, Martinez nibbling in that first inning, couldn't find the strike zone. His club scores him 4 runs in the bottom inning. You could just see the way he approached Coughlin. He was being very aggressive, working quickly, and you know, Rizzo, maybe he wouldn't say that was the case, but it just looked like he was reading that Martinez is being aggressive here. I'm ready to swing early.
Up and in, and it's full, 3-2. Martinez took a little too long to get the sign he wanted, so Bryant requested and was granted time. Good battle here.
Martinez missed his spot badly there. Trying to go down and away, threw it out over the heart of the plate and up, but 97 miles an hour. Watch where the mid is. Watch where the pitch ends up.
The next 3-2 on a hop, and that'll get past Carpenter and into left.
Got to be a knock.
Yeah, they have not scored it yet, but this wasn't the easiest of hops.
No, there's a lot of exit velocity on that too. I'm gonna give it a 102 with some top spin. That's a tough serve to return right there. No, they gave him an error.
So an error on Carpenter. Throw to first, close. But Bryant got in. So we're in the second inning. Fowler has walked. Coughlin has walked. Rizzo has homered. Bryant on twice, a walk and an error. Montero has singled, knocking in 2 and scored. Castro, RBI single and a run. Denorfia, RBI single. Wood, RBI single. The only guy who hasn't really reached is Russell. He got on, but it was a fielder's choice. So that doesn't really count. You're just replacing another runner, essentially.
So a little tip for those of you who like to keep a scorebook at home. If you make your S's and your E's kind of look the same, you can easily transition from a single to an E5 in your score sheet. Because I'd already marked that down. I gave him a knock.
That's a veteran move.
Some people carry white out, but I'm not willing to go that far.
Two and one on Montero, who's now 10 for his last 20. Bounce to first. Reynolds to Peralta to Reynolds to end the inning. 3-6-3. And the Cubs are done in the second, but they add to their lead as Rizzo with a home run to center, and it's now 6-4 Cubs. The Cubs return to action at home next Monday, May 11th, for a 7-game homestand with the Mets and the Pirates. Tickets are still available for every game. Get your seats at Cubs.com. Anthony Rizzo with a home run, team leading 4th to make it 6-4. First 3 games of that series are probables for the Mets. Bartolo Colon, Jacob deGrom, last year's Rookie of the Year, and Matt Harvey. Swing and a miss by Jay, so he's in the same spot. Unless he found himself in the first inning, that's when Travis Wood hit him to start that big rally. Bounced up the middle. Picked by Castro, and he throws to first.
Saturday, exciting Major League Soccer lives on CSN as the Fire kickoff against Real Salt Lake. Coverage begins at 1:30 on Comcast Sports Net. Good luck to the Fire.
Matt Carpenter homered yesterday, but later had to leave due to some lightheadedness. Back in the lineup tonight. popped out in his first at bat. The 0-1 from Travis Wood is fouled out of play.
He's a doubles machine. 55 of those a couple of years ago to lead the league. He's on a pace now. It's kind of fun, these early season numbers. You project them out over the full season. He's on a pace for like 91 doubles. Single season record is 67. By a fellow by the name of Earl Webb back in 1931 for the Boston club. He's short to the ball. Great eye-hand coordination.
Oh, by the way, may the 4th be with you.
Yes. Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. In Minnesota, they're giving away a Phil Hughes bobblehead with the Star Wars theme with Hughes the Force.
Very nice.
And he's pitching tonight.
Even better. On the ground and bobbled by Russell. Throw to first in time. Nice pick by Rizzo on the other end. Ball looked like it hit the heel of the glove.
Mike Matheny's having his guys review the replay, contemplating a challenge. Don't panic. Well, panic a little bit. You got to hurry. A nice pick by Rizzo. Looked like they got him.
And no challenge. Holiday with a double and a run in the first inning, which was the last inning. Right down the middle, strike one.
Probably the last thing Holiday was expecting right there was a fastball right down the middle after he jumped on that first pitch last time.
Travis Wood from Bryant, Arkansas. A lot of Cardinal fans in Arkansas. Then he was drafted by one of the Cardinal rivals, the Reds, and then traded to the Cubs. His 2-1 offering misses the inside corner. Not by much.
No, he's taking a couple shots in there, trying to throw a cutter, and that was more of a four-seam fastball. And you're working with slim margins there because you don't want it to leak out over the plate. And more than looking for a called strike in there, you're trying to get a swing and some weak contact. And all of a sudden, now it's a strike. It's really no better than the other one, except for it was 3 close ones in the same area. So 3 close one equals 1 strike. It's the formula.
Got it. The 3-2 to Holiday. Strike 3 called. Holiday thought he had walked on consecutive pitches. 6-4 Cubs after 2. third inning. Time for our T-Mobile Game Changers. And our first minor league player and pitcher of the month for April, Dan Vogelbach. Fine start at Double-A Tennessee. And Jeremy Knoll with the South Bend Cubs. Look at those numbers. Sparkling.
Glittering.
Pinche Chen, Smokies outfielder, got on 7 times today in Tennessee's 4-3 loss at 13 innings in Birmingham, Alabama. 5 walks to tie a Southern League record. Justin Grimm joining the Iowa Cubs on a rehab assignment. He may be back with the big league team soon.
Yeah, the term Joe used is he's almost ready to hatch.
He's got some fun terms, doesn't he? Left central. He's never left center. Two strikes to Castro. So Starlin Castro uses a 34-inch, 30.9 ounce bat. Same as he's had, same model, in fact, since he started out in the minors. And he explained the 30.9 ounce part of it.
All about
swing and a miss. Went after a really bad one.
About 4 more inches on that one.
Yeah. He said if I ask for 31 ounce, sometimes it'll be 31.1, 31.2. And he said when I put the pine tar and and I tape the handle, it's too heavy. So if you're more specific, the bat weight will be more specific, and then the tape and the extra stuff he puts on
so
it.
Does he weigh them when he gets them in to make sure?
I think so, probably, yeah. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
He says he'll get a bat, if it was 31 at 31.2, but that's not what he wants. 30.9.
Well, who might have? It seems a little over the top, but
well, Miguel Cabrera, the legend has it, at one point slept with his bat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been guys will take him back to the hotel room and take about 1,000 swings. Well, guys, they do a thing on Sundays. They have baseball chapel. Guys will gather bring a preacher in from outside, meet with any players that are interested. And I've known guys to throw their bats into the chapel. Players themselves won't go, but the bat will go.
Right. Denorfia is 2 for 2 as he rifles that one into right center.
Hey, Joe Madden was right on. He said Denorfia was a good matchup tonight. He's making the manager look smart. There's a good swing. Talking about staying on a ball. Good solid approach from Denorfia. I'll be using a 32 3/4 ounce bat. Nice wide grain.
RBI single by Wood in the first inning. I know he's not too happy with his start offensively. Came in 1 out of 14. This does not appear to be a long night for Carlos Martinez in terms of innings. It's already been a long night as he gave up 5 in the first and 1 in the second. But a very bloated pitch count. And a breaking ball in there, it's 1-1.
If either one of these pitchers is able to qualify and earn a win tonight, they will take a certain measure of pride in it. At the end of the day, you'd rather go out there and pitch a shutdown game, pitch a low-run game, but you do take a certain amount of pride in getting beat up a little bit and then hanging in there. And say Woody's got the better chance because he's got the lead, and the pitch count is much more of an issue for Martinez.
Martinez stumbled as he threw to first.
At one time, he was known as Carlos Matias, and the Red Sox signed him under that name in 2009, but had the deal voided due to identity issues. MLB made that call, suspended for a year, then he later signed with the Cardinals from the Dominican Republic. I guess his mother died when he was young. He was raised by an uncle whose last name was Matias. Debuted in the Cardinal chain when he was 18 years old.
What's the rule now in international signings? How young can they sign these guys? Is it 17?
Well, it was 16. I don't know if they've raised it. I think it's still 16. Wasn't Rafael Furcal signed when he was 15?
I don't know.
I think the Braves got in trouble years back.
The Wandy Rodriguez thing. He was Andy Cabrera, and he was underage when he initially signed.
Wood chased a pitch in the dirt just like Castro did, so 2 outs in the inning.
And Miguel Tejada too, right? Wasn't that the issue with Miggy?
Yep.
Can't fault those kids. They're just trying to get professional contracts, and record keeping wasn't real clean.
Ball 1. They're in a rain delay in Denver. Diamondbacks and Rockies trying to play tonight. That's a strike. It's 1-1. Denorfia at first, 2 outs. We're in the third. Out into right center and a base hit. Denorfia on his way to third, and the throw will be cut off by Peralta. So Russell has exactly 1 hit in each of his last 7 games, which means he's got a 7-game hitting streak. And Denorfia with an awkward landing there at third base. Gary Jones, I think, wants Ed Halber to come out. And he's done.
Yeah, a little funky as he went around second base. It might be the hammy. Bit him again. I asked him the other day, I said, how are you feeling? He goes, I'm good. And, there's just a little sense that, he wasn't quite 100%, but it was, in his mind, good enough to go.
Frustration.
Yeah, just solid pro, man. That's a tough break.
So Junior Lake will run for Denorfia, and hopefully that isn't as bad as it looked. And what you really worry about is aggravating a previous injury. Fowler takes a strike.
Russell's measured a pretty good lead down there at first base. Tony Cruz, the catcher tonight, throws pretty well. He's no Yadi or Molina, so the running game a little bit more in play than typically would be against the Cardinals.
So I don't know exactly what's happening beyond Chris Denorfia getting checked out in the clubhouse, but kind of the behind-the-scenes thing, JD, is there may be a phone call being made right now to the Iowa Cubs. A guy like Matt Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
Could be coming out of the game just to make sure that he's healthy if needed. So you got a lot of things that go on when a guy's taken out of the game. Caesar, by the way, has homered for the I-Cubs.
What are his numbers? I haven't looked.
262. But made a very strong positive impression on everybody in spring training and to start the year on the big league roster. 2-2 outside. It's full.
Martinez took 2 or 3 steps towards the Cardinal dugout. John Hirschbeck, hands on hips, not exactly thrilled with that. A lot of pitches in 3 innings of work.
Swing and a miss. So all the outs were strikeouts. Unfortunately, Denorfia left due to injury as well. 6-4.
It's 6-4. The Cubs lead. The Cardinals coming to bat in the bottom of the 3rd. Are you in charge of planning your next social gathering? Plan a day at Wrigley Field and enjoy special perks only available inside the ballpark. The Cubs offer special ticket packages for groups of 15 or more. Visit Cubs.com/groups.
Ball 1 on Peralta. Junior late after running for the injured Denorfia. Will stay in and play right. High drive, pretty well hit. Fowler and Lake are back on it, and it's Dexter Fowler on the warning track for the out.
Pretty good charge put into this one by Peralta, but room for Fowler to settle underneath. Travis Wood, an extreme fly ball pitcher, takes advantage of the spacious dimensions here at Busch Stadium.
To say the biggest hit of this game was the grand slam by Reynolds.
I don't know where to put him with the bases loaded.
I mentioned 3 true outcomes. That would be the home run, the walk, the strikeout. And with Adam Dunn retiring after last year, he's got to carry that 3 TO torch forward into the next generation.
He's the captain of the 3 true outcomes team.
I think so. You know, Rob Deere, Jim Thome, Mark McGwire, Adam Dunn, Mark Reynolds,
Dave Kingman.
If anybody, you could take all the other defenders out of the mix, it would be a guy like Reynolds. Just pitcher, catcher, batter. 3-2. Hit in the air to deep right. And it's Lake for the second out. And now Hayward, 1 for 1 tonight, but off to a very slow start. In his first and what may be his only year here with the Cardinals, he's due to be a free agent after 2015.
Yeah, I was looking at some numbers on him. He's hitting the ball on the ground way more than he ever has in the past. So I wonder if it's a function of trying to hit for more power, trying to pull the ball and maybe rolling over on a lot of balls. That's always been the knock on him for a big guy, corner outfielder. The people think he should be able to hit more home runs, hit for more power. I mean, he's a good player when you look at his numbers that he put up in Atlanta, the on-base percentage, the speed, the tremendous defense that he provides. But as a potential free agent, understandable that he'd try to do a little more.
He lines out to Fowler. Congrats. The Bulls just beat the Cavs to start their series. 6-4 Cubs. 3 between the Hawks and the Wild. Flip over to CSN Chicago for locker room reaction, or dressing room reaction. That's the hockey term. Highlights and much more on Blackhawks Postgame Live, presented by Hawk Ford, all postseason long after every game, only on Comcast Sportsnet. It has been a wild affair here in St. Louis, 6-4, and we're only 3 innings along. Chris Coghlan takes ball 1. The wind and the pitch. A couple of bounces to Wong. Short flip to Reynolds for the out. For Xfinity high-speed replay, Anthony Rizzo, nice smooth easy swing. He's got enough power in those hands to get it on out of here, and that made it a 2-run ball game.
That ball was really out away from him.
By the way, they did give Bryant an infield a single, I should say. It wasn't an infield hit. The ball that got past Carpenter in the second. So take away the error.
Change that E back to an S.
Broken bat pop up. Wong in shallow right field. Puts the clamps on out number 2. And here is Bryant, who's now 1 for 1 with a walk and a run scored.
Be ready right here.
Tried to prove you right.
Martinez due up third in the bottom half of the 4th. He's worked awfully hard here tonight. He's a very highly valued young pitcher for the Cardinals. Be interesting to see Mike Matheny tries to get one more inning out of him or opts to hit for him.
Slider didn't slide. It's 1-2. Dallas Keuchel, the reigning pitcher of the month in the American League, is working again tonight. The Astros have a 1-0 advantage over Texas in the bottom of the 6th. His ERA through 6 is down to .63. The Astros looking for their 11th consecutive victory. He's been quite a revelation.
Movement and location. Does not throw hard at all, but he knows how to pitch.
From 0-2 to 3-2. Luis Valbuena, the former Cub, only hitting .218 for the Astros, but he's got 6 home runs.
It's kind of their story offensively. Not hitting for much average, but they do hit the ball out of the ballpark.
And he walked him. The 0-2 to 4-2 walk that Joe Madden loves.
Bryant walk, single walk now tonight, and that one not anywhere near close enough to get Bryant to offer. And I think with that walk, there's going to be some action again in the Cardinal bullpen, and Thinking maybe had Martinez gotten through this one cleanly, they might have tried to get him one more, depending on how the bottom half of the inning transpired. But I'm guessing he's toast after this one. Not that you would do it in this situation, but as you watch Martinez drift off towards first base when he finishes his delivery, it seems like he'd be susceptible to a little push bunt. A little reminiscent of Bob Gibson, the way he falls off to the first base side.
Nelson Cruz and Adrian Gonzalez, players of the month for April in their respective leagues.
Cruz, what, 13, 14 home runs, something like that?
He hit 10 in April. Deep to left. Holiday back on this one, and it bangs off the padded wall. Bryant hustling, and he's going to score. So that grinded out, 2-out walk gets Montero to the plate. He drives in his third of the night, and it's 7-4.
Boy, Montero is on fire. One good at bat after another. Cubs cash in yet again, another walk. Took a long look. He thought perhaps he hit it out of here. Holiday a little hesitant before throwing this ball in. If he gets rid of it in a hurry, they might have had a shot at Bryant. He didn't know where to go with that ball.
So Matheny will make a Weber sauces and seasonings call to the pen. Why grill with anything else? Former Cub Carlos Villanueva when we come back. Cubs getting into a tired bullpen. And we know Carlos Villanueva will throw everything, including the kitchen sink, to get a guy out.
And so far, good numbers in a Cardinal uniform. Did some good work for the Cubs over the last couple of seasons now in St. Louis. He is 3-1 with an .087 earned run average. 3 hits allowed, 4 walks, and 10 1/3. Did not pitch in the ball game yesterday. Worked an inning in Saturday's game. Three 2/3 on April 30th against the Phillies. So he's a guy that Mike Matheny can call on and get multiple innings out of, and that's what he's going to look for here tonight.
There's Castro, runner at second, a run in, and ball one.
Fastball, curveball, slider change. He'll throw that real slow curveball from time to time. He'll quick pitch you. Won't do it with a man on base, as is the case here.
Two and one the count.
A little bit short in terms of velocity. Typically sits in the high 80s, but in terms of pitchability, command, and pitching smarts, very high.
89 appearances, 2 years with the Cubs, including 20 starts, as he strikes out the next teammate. Big night though for Montero, and it's now 7-4.
David Kaplan and Chicago Tribune writer David Haw bring you the best Chicago sports talk in town. The Kap and Haw Show every morning at 9 a.m. on Comcast Sports Net.
Miguel Montero continues his sizzling streak with the bat. Colton Wong airs it out, missed it. 7-4 Cubs, bottom of the fourth.
There it is again, that pitch off the outside. It's kind of interesting because for the most part, Hirschbeck has been tight tonight, but he has shown a willingness to call that pitch off the outside corner. Down. It's really the toughest pitch for an umpire to see. It's when they set up inside. They're less vulnerable to foul tips by sitting over the inside corner of the catcher, as opposed to being straight over the top. So if you're directly over the head, centered over the head of the catcher, you get a better look at that outside corner, but you're going to get dinged a lot more.
Two balls, two strikes. Long stays alive. Hector Gomez has hit his first career home run. It's off Clayton Kershaw, who's still in there in the 8th inning, leading Dodgers leading 3-2. He chases one in the dirt. Montero's got to hurry and not going to get. Ooh, Rizzo may have tweaked his right wrist as Wong was running through. He reached out his glove to get the ball, and the glove actually came off the hand. I hope he's all right.
That's a scary play. Anytime you see that runner come in contact with the wrist of the first baseman.
The strikeout and a wild pitch, allowing Wong to reach. Now the catcher Cruz, as Wood will fire over to first. So Chris Denorfia did aggravate that left hamstring. That's not good news. And without knowing the severity of it, but based on the fact that he already has missed time due to a strain, got to believe he'll end up on the DL.
Yeah, they were, working him out on the homestand a couple times to determine whether he was good to go or not, and decided to push forward. And yeah, I would assume at this point now they would just put Chris back on the DL, and get a fresh body up here. It's a tough break for him.
And I want to mention something about the weather in terms of injuries as well. After this 2-0 to Cruz. Popped him up. And it's Bryant in foul ground. There's maybe an assumption, JD, that guys are more susceptible to injury in the cold weather, but it's actually not true. We were talking with Joe the other day in the office about muscle strains and that kind of thing. It's actually easier to do it when it's warmer like it is here.
Yeah, and when it really gets hot, when guys get dehydrated. I think you're vulnerable in extremes on either side. I think with the really cold weather, it's tougher to stay warm. But I think probably more so in the hot weather.
Being a wave of bunts. And the throw pulls Russell off the bag. Did he get his foot back in time? He did. Well, he didn't strain something on that stretch.
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh. This is the third time that Mike Matheny has been up at the top step of the dugout. He's quick to jump on out there, and they're taking a second look. Russell's such a good athlete, able to stretch back. He got it with his hand.
Yeah. Wow.
Resourceful, the young man. Right hand blue.
So that goes, what, 2-4?
Mm-hmm.
Montero to Russell. And it's John Jay with a runner. Now it's second and 2 outs. And on a bounce to the shortstop, Castro to Rizzo, inning over. 7-4 Cubs as we go to the 5th. This season at Wrigley Field, the Cubs will feature Budweiser Bleacher Fridays on select dates throughout the season. Budweiser Bleacher Fridays include pregame entertainment, exclusive giveaway items, special food and beverages, and more. For more information and to buy your Budweiser Bleacher tickets, visit Cubs.com. Fouled at the plate by Junior Lake. Pinch ran for Denorfia in the third. He's now playing right. Now 1-1.
Every now and then, Junior will try to drop down a bunt. He had Matt Carpenter a few steps behind the bag at third. He's gotten his attention by showing bunt there. Carpenter's moved in a little bit.
High fly to deep center. Jay drifting. He's on the track and he hauls it in.
Maybe just down towards the end of the bat a little bit. Pretty good swing by Junior. Just misses knocking one out of here.
Fastball at 88 for a strike to Travis Wood.
Hey, Brewers have tied the Dodgers now 3-3 in the bottom of the eighth.
Carlos Gomez double.
And Craig Counsell really managed.
Right field, and it's going to land foul. I knew that early because Travis started running and then he stopped. Swing and a miss to end the at-bat. Host your best customers and guests in a private suite at Wrigley Field. The Nuveen Investment Suites can accommodate anywhere from 15 to 55 guests and include food, all-you-can-drink beverages, and parking. To book your premier experience at the ballpark, visit Cubs.com/suites. I always feel the need to say once about every month or so that the parking is not in the actual suite. You wouldn't park the car in the suite.
That would
park the car somewhere else. But we'll file that under the you knew what I meant category. Two strikes on Russell. He's bounced into a fielder's choice and singled.
So this May the 4th thing, Star Wars night.
Yeah,
I told you Phil Hughes was pitching. They're using they had the bobblehead to use Hughes to force. He's pitching against Jesse Hahn of the A's.
Like Han
like
Solo.
Han Solo, yeah.
Very nice.
That's all I got.
Villanueva has faced 4 and he has struck out 3. But the Cubs lead 7-4. Back here in St. Louis, 7-4. As Travis Wood tries to qualify for the win. This will not be a quality start,
but it could be a quality effort.
Yep.
After giving up that 4th spot in the first, he's been really good. Hasn't allowed a hit since the first. And the only base runner, the Wong strikeout wild pitch. It's like failing that first test of the year, and so you got to get a bunch of solid B's to get that average up. Flunked the first inning, but passed every test since.
Long run, Chris Coghlan, no play. Holiday and Peralta to follow.
Mentioned at the beginning of the ball game that the Cardinals' success mostly driven by their pitching. Both the starters and the bullpen have been really good. They're 9th in the league in runs scored. Better here at home, averaging about 4.5 runs per game here in their own ballpark. This guy really makes them go on base all the time, but a strikeout victim here, something he rarely does.
5 now for Travis Wood. Holiday 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. The double snapped in 0 for 13. He has reached base in every game he's played this season. Pitch number 75 for Wood is bounced foul. Former Cardinal Jason Mott was a popular guy among the beat writers before the game. Returning here to St. Louis. Tomorrow would have been Adam Wainwright's day to pitch, and he's done for the year with the Achilles injury. So left-hander Tyler Lyons will take that start. He'll come up from AAA. Kyle Hendricks, the right-hander, still looking for his first win of the season, goes for the Cubs. Wednesday night, it's John Lester and Lance Lynn. And then Thursday, Jake Arrieta versus John Lackey to close out the series. And we'll have games 3 and 4, night game, day game, for you right here on CSN. Three and 2 to Holiday. When it's all said and done, these two clubs will match up 19 times, and after this week we won't see the Cardinals again until the end of June. Bounce to the shortstop, Castro. Holiday retired. Clark, the official team mascot of the Chicago Cubs, can be part of your next gathering, from charity events and wedding receptions to birthday parties and grand openings. Clark wants to be a part of it. Email him directly at clark@cubs.com. So you got the two ats. Or visit cubs.com/Clark For more info or how to book him for your next event.
Book him, Dano. Everybody under the age of 50 is going, what's he talking about?
Right. Wood gave up all 3 hits in the first.
Yep. And he took one on the chin, got up off the mat, and has really responded. Pretty impressive. Never panicked. I mentioned at the time when he was going through that first inning, you never saw that deer in the headlights look, the woe is me body language. Just kept on doing his thing.
Backhanded play by Bryant, looks it in, throws in time, and the inning is over. They go down quietly, 7-4 Cubs after 5.
Tonight with Game 3 of this 4-game set, as the Cubs look to claw their way to a win over the Cards. Join us for the first pitch at 7 p.m. on CSN Chicago. Cubs are going to claw them.
Villanueva trying to give his team quality and quantity after a short start from Martinez. Got the line here on Martinez. 3 2/3, 9 hits, 7 runs, all earned. 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 home run, 102 pitches. It's a lot.
Three walks in the first inning. They all came around to score. Then he walked Bryan in the 5th. He scored. He paid for his sins tonight.
Got a tweet from Sean Lindstrom. Wants to know if we save our scorecards from each ball game or just special games or not at all. I'll let you answer first.
Well, no, I usually throw them out at the end of the year. There's a few I probably should have saved over the years.
Kerry Wood
game.
Yeah.
Did the Matt Cain perfect game against the Astros. Biggio's 3,000 hit. All these games that probably should have had guys sign them and auctioned them off or something. That's what a smart person would do.
I have saved all of mine. I now score on the computer, so saving means putting them on the iCloud.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If there's any game I ever need to look up, we can go to Retro Sheet or somewhere, right. Baseball Reference, and find it.
Good question, Sean. We appreciate it. 2-2 and Fowler held.
Yeah,
he's seen a ton of pitches, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that's what he does. That's a big part of his game.
Some fan just got on the field and got tackled immediately by security, so we'll have a short delay.
You ever been to a rodeo?
Probably when I was a kid.
Yeah, so I've been in Houston a few times over the years, and the calf roping thing. You know, they got 8 seconds or whatever it is to tackle the guy and tie him up. The security got this guy in like 2 seconds. Now there's another knucklehead loose. That's not going to end well for him.
It's only a Monday night. It's a school night, for crying out loud.
I think that long first inning gave people time to have an extra beer or two.
So we will now resume. Cubs can laugh about it. They're leading by 3 here in the 6th. For obvious reasons, we don't show those sorts of hijinks. If you want to find it on the internet, I'm sure somebody will put it up on YouTube, but we do not want to encourage the idiots who are going to have to pay a hefty fine, maybe have a felony on their record, and spend the night in jail. But if you're into that sort of thing, swing and a miss on a little bit of a quick pitch by Villanueva. 1 away.
I don't really think of Carlos as a strikeout pitcher, but he's certainly been that tonight. Good changeup, great hand speed, really sells it. That's tough at bat. You work the count full, then you have that delay. Kind of get out of your game a little bit. But a quality pitch by Carlos. 4 strikeouts of the 5 batters he has faced.
It's over in Milwaukee. The Brewers came back and beat the Dodgers 4-3. Under their new manager, Craig Counsell. One and one to Coughlin. Fly ball to deep center. Jay got a good jump on it, and he just can't haul it in. He did get a glove on it. Coughlin around second, on his way to third, and finally he gets a break on a well-hit ball. A triple.
Yeah, if Jay had caught that, Coughlin might have needed therapy. He's hit into a lot of tough luck here lately. He puts a charge in this ball, and the Chief Justice almost makes a spectacular play. Had it in the end of his mitt momentarily, could not hang on. It goes a one-out triple for Coughlin.
It'll force the Cardinals to bring their infielders in against Anthony Rizzo.
Coughlin might have snapped. We would have had security have to run out to catch Coughlin. He would have gone out there trying to tackle John Jay. Rizzo, middle of the order hitter, gets paid to drive in runs, but he has become a very smart, disciplined hitter. He knows that Carlos is going to try to stay out of the zone as much as possible.
Two and one. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Good strike to ball slider there from Villanueva. Now you'll see Rizzo spread out a little bit, quiet down the lower body, use his hands.
The 2-2 is on the way. Knocked down by Cruz. Clayton Kershaw got a no decision in that game in Milwaukee. 7 1/3, 3 runs. Chris Hatcher took the loss. Michael Blazek got the win for Milwaukee in relief, and K-Rod got his 5th save. So the Brewers have now won 3 in a row. Still just 8-18.
Yeah, it sounds like the decision to fire Ron Renicky had been made a couple of days ago, but it had to be a little awkward after winning their first series of the year in Chicago to then pull the plug.
Popped up. Coughlin's not going to tag. Oh, it's dropped by Peralta, and they'll get a run. It's 8-4.
Wow. What a break. Routine pop-up. Villanueva pitched Rizzo about as well as you could pitch him in that situation. Made a quality pitch with that inside fastball after all the soft stuff. Got the little pop-up. Peralta clanks it.
Well, you got a few things at play here. The infield was in, so he had to basically traverse the infield dirt. And you know, infielders on those pop-ups, JD, they've got a timing mechanism, and he might have just been a little out of sorts. I was also curious that Coughlin didn't tag because of what we talked about in spring training, the idea of the one-out tag play, especially with a backpedaling infielder. And Joe Madden was intrigued by that. So I was thinking Coughlin might actually try to score there.
Try to steal a run essentially on the backpedaling infielder.
But he didn't have to. Rizzo back to first.
Yeah, and I think if that ball is a little deeper, then the tag is probably a more appropriate play. Because if it's deeper, even if you're standing on third base and it's misplayed and dropped, you're going to score in all likelihood.
Right. I guess my thought is because it's an infielder backing up as opposed to an outfielder running in, it might be worth considering. And the point now is moot. Let's see Peralta. Yeah, he ran. He didn't backpedal. He just dropped it. Oh, you got to catch up there. Yep. I'm sure Johnny would be the first one to tell you, I have to catch it. But this game is played by humans, not robots. Peralta not known to have much range as Rizzo got a running lead, and he is safe. I don't think Wong ever tagged him. So Rizzo now with 7 steals. He's tied with Dexter Fowler for the team lead.
Yeah, that's the way he goes about it. Short little lead, running lead, little sneak attack. Rizzo has been a very efficient base stealer. He's been caught once.
He has been caught twice. That is a new career high, 7 stolen bases. Bryant has quietly had a big night, hasn't he? He's walked 3 times, had the single in the second. So he's 1 for 1 on base all 4 times. I was just going to say about Peralta, not known for having great range, but known for catching everything he can get to at short. Montero has 2 hits and 3 RBIs tonight. And he bounces to first. Reynolds will tag the bag, 2 outs. Former Cub Miguel Sokolovic.
Don't you want to call him Mikhail?
I hadn't thought about it.
And shouldn't he be playing hockey?
Here's Castro. Do you ever ask yourself, why do these thoughts enter my brain?
All the time. The bigger question is, why can't I filter them?
Right. That's why we love you.
Why do I feel the need to share?
Roll to Carpenter. And he'll get it to Reynolds in time to end the inning. Cubs with a run to make it 8-4 in the 6th. View, Travis Wood given, and he helped himself to a 5-0 lead. Then gave up the grand slam, but has really settled in since. Hottest Cub right now is the catcher, Miguel Montero, and Anthony Rizzo with a home run tonight as well. You know what Reynolds will not do in this at bat? Hit another grand slam.
Yeah, you got him in a good spot here leading off. And you know, that's the one thing about the Cardinals offensively. They have not hit a lot of home runs. They don't strike you as a team that has a lot of come from behind potential. But obviously that was not the case in the first. Their pitching has been so good. They've been playing with a lot of leads.
Into left to start the 6th.
Matheny with a wise move, giving Reynolds a start here tonight, and that's paid off. 3 good at-bats. Hit the ball pretty hard last time up to right field. But 2 out of 3 now. The single to go along with the grand slam.
Cardinals pitching has been so great. The closest competitor in the ERA race was a half a run higher. 2.21 going into play tonight. The Pirates second at 279. And here's a Cardinal rally in the 6th. Little boot by Lake, but Reynolds not going to take any chances. So 2 on, nobody out.
It's got the crowd energized a little bit here as they try to make yet another comeback. Hayward has looked very good tonight. 2 base hits and a line out.
Mott and Koch. They got him on the swing for strike 1.
Cardinals playing with a 4-man bench. 9 guys in the bullpen tonight, and they'll call up a starter tomorrow.
Little flare, base hit. Reynolds will score. 3 consecutive hits to start the bottom of the 6th. It's 8-5 now. And again, this ball game far from over.
There must be a full moon tonight. It's a wacky night. A couple solid singles and now a little flare off the bat of Wong. But it gets the job done. Gets a run home. And it looks like Joe Madden has decided to make the move.
Time for our Weber's sauces and seasonings. Call to the pen. Why grill with anything else? Comes of Travis Wood's pitching. And again, it will not be a quality start, but he can get a win.
Yeah, he really settled in nicely after getting whacked around there in the first inning. Maybe just ran out of gas here in the sixth. Well, he will rely on a little help from his friends, and the first man out of the chute from the Cubs bullpen is former Cardinal Jason Mott, working for the 12th time. He's 1-0 with a 4.09 ERA. He got a very nice reception from these Cardinal fans as he came into the ball game. Did some good work for them, including leading the league in saves in 2012 with 42 while pitching for the Cardinals. That was then, and this is now, and he's in there to protect this 3-run lead. Tying run coming to the plate. Tony Cruz, and then a pinch hitter.
Consider this for later for both teams, depending on this situation. Yadier Molina not in the Cardinal lineup. Jorge Soler not in the Cub lineup. So we might see one or both later in a pinch hit appearance. Peter Borges is on deck. In the pitcher's spot, here's Cruz. And Mott's first offering, a cut and a miss. The former battery mate, well, he's really amped up. Jason is a frenetic guy as it is on the mound, with the flipping the ball, tugging the cap, tucking in the necklace. Rapid speed here. Deep breath to try to calm the mechanism, and fouled back. Wipe the head, wipe the hat, rub the ball, grab the rosin bag, wipe the pants.
For love of the game?
Yeah.
Calm the mechanism. I love it.
Still 0-2. Who uttered the line he could make coffee nervous? It's appropriate for Jason Mott when he pitches. For all of you tweeting me that it is a full moon tonight, JD knew that. That's why he said it. Well, it's clear the mechanism.
Clear the mechanism.
I think in his case, it's calm the mechanism. That's the Mott twist to the Costner line. In the air, Fowler coming over. Hayward's going to tag, and he'll make third. And the throw's going to go towards second. Keep the double play in order. One out.
And Mott works up in the zone with that fastball. He throws cutters as well. He's going to get a lot of outs in the air. So the double play is obviously an option, but not as likely with a guy like Mott, who's more of a power type pitcher, strikeouts and fly balls. Or just smelling his bat. I guess that's how he calms his mechanism. Like it's a fine cigar. Cardinals off the bench, hitting .212, pitch hitting rolls, which is actually better than league average. It's a tough job. That's why that Mabry was good at it. It's tough to second guess managers when they leave their regular players in there, even though there's a guy with a better resume on the bench. Talked to a lot of veterans who have been everyday players that try to make that transition to a bench role, and they really struggle. Borges is 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter.
Borges had a disappointing first year with the Cardinals last year. Hit just .231. Limited at bats this year, off to a much better start. 1 ball, 1 strike. He was born in Park Ridge, Illinois. Went to Notre Dame Prep in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's the Marlins guy, we believe. Showed up at the World Series last year wearing his Marlins gear. Low and in, 2-1. Parents from Chicago, and they moved the family to Arizona when Peter was a young child. His dad, Chris, played 13 games with the Giants. 1980, an outfielder. 2-2. Fowler has a beat on it. He's got it. Hayward tags. 8-6. Sac fly Borges. And the Cardinals now within 2. That run charged to Travis Wood as well. That'll be it for Mott. Came on, got a couple of flyouts. Pitching change, 8-6 Cubs. We'll be back. As he walked off the field, I'm sure he's happy to get this first one out of the way against his former team, and assuming he's with the Cubs a while, he's going to face these Cardinals a lot. And here's left-hander Phil Koch. A Weber call to the pen as he tries to get this final out in the 6th inning.
Koch, fastball 92, 93-ish. He'll cut it. Also throws a slider and a changeup. Worked 2/3 of an inning in the ball game yesterday. Allowed a hit and no runs. Had a strikeout. John Jay this year coming into this game was hitting just a $176 against left-handed pitching, but in his career for a left-handed hitter, he's typically been pretty good against southpaws.
Ball one on John Jay.
Pulled off that one a little bit. Zach Roskup heating it up. Jay last year hit .375 against left-handed pitching. That's way above average. For his career, .284. Yeah, so he hangs in there. Doesn't hit for a lot of power. Doesn't hit for power, period.
Bounced foul.
As a matter of fact, the Cardinals had not hit a home run against left-handed pitching yet this year. And then Mark Reynolds hit that grand slam in the first. When you say, as a matter of fact, it usually links to what you were just talking about. And I was talking about John Jay. That really doesn't have anything to do with John Jay, but in general, the Cardinals have not hit for power against lefties.
Wong takes off. Jay swats it foul. A lot of outs to get, aren't there? Still only in the sixth inning.
This is a battle. This is a brawl here.
Into right. Wong makes the turn. Four hits here in the sixth inning.
Went back to that slider. This time left it up a little bit over the plate. Jay didn't hit it all that hard, but hit it hard enough, and he hit it in a good spot. From this perspective,
very dangerous now. Matt Carpenter and a strike.
Carpenter 0 for so far tonight. He hasn't had many of those this season.
Koch has a sign from Montero. And the pitch, 1-2. Matt Carpenter seems to get better when he gets to two strikes. He's a stingy hitter, isn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't chase very much. Tremendous knowledge of the strike zone. He did punch out last time up.
And a lazy fly ball out toward Coughlin to end the inning. They do get a couple. It's now 8-6 Cubs as we go to the 7th.
Support Cubs charities and the Wood Family Foundation. It's the inaugural Battle of the Bats Charity Home Run Derby. It takes place on Thursday, June 18th. Join Kerry Wood and Cubs alumni as you swing for the fences at Wrigley Field. That sounds like a great time. Registration and information is available at Cubs.com/derby. There's that large orb we were talking about. That's why the baseball has looked a lot of the hitters here tonight.
Yep.
14 runs, 17 hits as we head to the 7th.
Miguel Sokolovic here in the 7th. Brief time with the Cubs. Back in 2012, 6 appearances. Debuted with the Orioles that year. And this is game number 2 with St. Louis.
Started in the Red Sox organization. Moved on to the White Sox. All minor league work with them. Good time with the Cubs. A little bit of big league time with the Orioles. A couple of years on the 3rd line with the Red Army.
Ground ball, backhanded play, and Peralta had trouble with the exchange. Junior with a headfirst slide, which was ultimately unnecessary, but he didn't see that Peralta had bobbled, so he's got a hard-earned infield hit.
Yeah, it looked like Peralta was going to make a heck of a play on him, but as he tried to make the transfer to his throwing hand, could not do so cleanly. Better off just running straight through the bag anyway. The way tonight is going, wouldn't be a bad idea for the Cubs to score some more. Didn't have to be. Cubs have been good at holding leads this year. When entering the 7th inning with a lead, they're 7-1 in those ball games. Joe Madden always referring to his charts down there.
Runner going, and Castillo fouled it back. Swing and a miss. Lake is going to be safe.
Second stolen base of the night for the Cubs. Like, see if he can dive for the cycle.
He's
dive into
there.
first, dive into second.
So Castillo striking out, one away.
So Tony Cruz is what Rizzo stole second on him, and now Lake, and both times he doesn't come out of his crouch. He tries to go Benito Santiago.
Russell bounces to the shortstop Peralta. Not a great throw, but the tag applied. Lake almost had to go head first back into second. That was ultimately a good read. He thought about running toward third, then put on the brakes.
A wise decision. See, now that would be a one time where you would be justified in diving or trying to slide at first base if the throw's offline. That's a very difficult thing to read and react to late.
Fowler walked and scored in the first, flied to center, then struck out in his next two at bats. A roller to first, Reynolds to the bag, stretch time in St. Louis. The Cubs maintaining an 8-6 advantage.
You can use the courtesy bike check that's located near Clark and Addison. If you drive, the Cubs provide free parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games from 3900 North Rockwell. For details, visit Cubs.com. Joe Madden trying to piece it together out of the bullpen here tonight. He's used Mott and Koch, and now Strop in the 7th. Typically, he's a guy that Madden uses in the 8th inning. Had an ERA of 0 before yesterday. Things did not go particularly well for him in that game. But he's got Holiday, Peralta, Reynolds due up here in the middle of the Cardinal order, and that's why Strop gets the call here.
That reminds me, I should check on the update on Gene Segura. The latest I had seen was positive. Very scary moment in the game yesterday when he got hit in the helmet by a Pedro Strop pitch. You always worry a little bit how a pitcher will react. He actually got a big double play ball after that, and the broken bat game-winning knock by Ramirez.
So charged with the loss yesterday was Strop. He allowed 3 hits, 2 runs in that inning. Had a walk and a strikeout. You got to have a short memory to do that job, and other than that, he's been lights out.
Swinging strike on Holiday. Adam McCalvey, who covers the Brewers for MLB.com, has tweeted that Segura is expected back in the lineup tomorrow. How about that?
It's good news.
So normally we'd see Strop in the 8th, but the way this game has gone, get him in earlier.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Holiday, Peralta, Reynolds due up here. They still have Adams on the bench, a dangerous left-handed bat. They've got a couple lefties due up. You know, if you get through this inning cleanly, you're going to see Hayward, Wong, and perhaps Adams next inning. So Ross Cup maybe, you know, see some 8th inning action, or maybe Joe just decides to try to piece it together with Strop and Rondon to the 9th. But there's Ross Cup at the ready.
Towards center. Russell will throw. Almost got him. Holiday beat it out. I didn't think he had a prayer in the world to get Holiday, but he almost did.
Yeah, he's so athletic. Watch how quickly he gets up and gets rid of this ball. Normally you see a second baseman that far behind the base out there in the shallow center field. You're thinking, no chance. He made it relatively close. Just watch his actions on the diamond. You can tell why scouts love him.
In the dirt. Reynolds has had a good game. He's on deck. Getting a rare start at first base for Matt Adams. Fouled off. 41,981 the paid crowd on a Monday night in early May. Cubs Cardinals. And 2 of those fans right now are probably in handcuffs. For the record. Left center in trouble. Holiday on his way to third. Good job by Fowler, though. to keep the tying run, at least for the time being, out of scoring position. A lot of times that's pretty easy double, but Peralta kept to a single.
Yeah, two very good plays there. One, Fowler cutting the ball off and getting the ball back in quickly, and two, Peralta deciding to drop anchor and not push it, because they probably would have had him at second base. Very nice play by Fowler. Good, accurate throw, and you see Peralta contemplating, but ultimately shutting it down.
In the dirt, the Reynolds. Joe probably leaves Strop in no matter what in this spot. It does make you wonder, maybe we can ask Mike Matheny tomorrow. Does the game Reynolds has had to this point affect him using Reynolds in this spot as opposed to Adams? Now, Ross Cup is up in the bullpen, but again, I don't think Joe would play matchup here with Strop on the mound.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, and I think if you're Matheny, he's got a short bench to begin with. Burgess has already been used. We don't know what kind of shape Molina's in for this game. Presumably he's okay. Cosma's not a threat, offensively not much of a threat.
So you save Adams for later.
Well, given the night Reynolds is having, he's in the flow of the game. He's swinging it really well here tonight.
So I guess that's part of my question. If he's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts,
then I think you do probably force Madden to make a decision. Because, if you're Matheny, you haven't seen, and now that he's got advanced scouting reports and he knows a little bit about Zach Roskup, but he knows that Strop is his primary setup guy. So, he's either going to get the matchup he wants with a left-handed hitter in there against Strop, or he's going to get, the Cubs' 8th inning guy, out of the ball game.
One ball, one strike. Got a question on Twitter about Pedro Strop and his pitch selection this year. He's throwing his fastball less frequently than ever, about 1 out of every 2 pitches. His slider, he's used a ton. There's another one. By far the most he's ever thrown his slider in his career. Almost 47% of the time, according to Fangraphs. Two. We'll do it again.
And that may be what Chris Pazio said when he went out there. Maybe their report on Reynolds says, hey, let's just keep spinning it. Don't throw him a fastball over the plate.
Jose Oquendo, longtime Cardinal third base coach, and the error on the fan. The secret weapon. Full count, 3-2. Nobody out. They're at the corners. And the Cubs' lead tonight has been precarious since the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and this is a very difficult situation. Reynolds probably got to be sitting slider here. He's got a good eye. You'd love to try to throw him that slider off the outside corner and get him to chase. Try to run her in.
And they are full of Cardinals. 3 on with nobody out. That'll be it. Zach Rosscup, Weber Sauces and Seasonings. Call to the pen. Why grill with anything else? And it's left-hander Zach Rosscup.
Well, Zach has been going along nicely. 9 times he's gone to the mound. He's got a win and no losses, an 0.93 ERA. Command has been really good. He struck out 12 against just 1 walk. We talk a lot about relievers needing to have short memories. The last time Zach pitched in this ballpark, it was the end of August last year. He faced 6 batters. They all scored. 3 hits, 3 runs. Didn't get anybody out, but that was then. He's a different guy now, gaining confidence and throwing the ball really well.
Hayward 2 out of 3, and the out was a line out, and all those at bats coming against a left-hander, Travis Wood. Facing another southpaw here, and the pitch to Hayward is low. Cubs would love a chance at a double play ball here. They'll give up that 7th run in order to try for 2, trying to avoid the big inning. Squibbed, foul.
Wow,
that ball had
a lot of funk going on.
Ton of funky spin, but it was foul.
Off the end of the bat, little cue shot. It starts to kick back the other way.
Two and 1. Rosscup quickly became a favorite of Joe Madden in spring training. Now that he's here in the big leagues, he's been given a lot of responsibility as that second left-hander. And actually pitching later in a tighter game tonight than Phil Koch.
Yeah, he's definitely moved up the ladder. Joe Madden has a lot of confidence in his stuff, and a lot of it is just because of his stuff, the way it plays. He likes that elevated fastball against right-handed hitters. So he's not just a guy you're going to bring in to get a good left-handed hitter out.
Ground ball. Bryant will throw to second. They're only going to get 1. So they'll be at first and third, a run in, and a 1-run ball game. RBI fielder's choice for Hayward.
Had Chris been able to stay upright, maybe they get two there, but by the time he scrambles to his feet and makes the feed to Russell, not able to get Hayward, who runs well. I don't know, after, clearly their intention there was to get two. After he went to his knees, I don't know if he would have had time to audible and throw home to try to get the out at home, realizing he probably wasn't going to get two. That's a whole lot going on for a young player. Normally when the play takes you towards second base, that's where you're going to go with the ball. But down to his knees, then up. Double play is kind of gone by that point. It would have been a heck of a play to be able to make that adjustment and throw home.
Another lefty, Colton Wong. Ball one. Tying run at third, that's Peralta. Hayward, the runner at first. Always big to get that first out. Now you're a pitch away, potentially, from getting out of the inning, maintaining the lead. 1-1. Matt Belisle. He pokes it out of the left center, and we are tied. Throw's going to go to third, a little offline. Hayward safe, and it allows Wong to go to second. And that could be big, because there's still only one out. Well, the Cardinals just will not go away. They were down 5-0 in the first inning. They've come back to tie it here in the seventh.
That's a good pitch. That's off the plate, but just a real nice job of hitting by Wong. Playing a little pepper with Chris Coughlin out there and left. Wong, the hero for the Cardinals yesterday with a walk-off home run in extras, delivers the tying run here tonight.
The Cardinals in the modern era have never started a season 19-6. It looked like that was, if not an impossibility, certainly an improbability very early tonight. We've got ourselves a dogfight here late, and the infield is in against Tony Cruz. Yadier Molina has jumped into the on-deck circle. Cubs bullpen right now is quiet. Slider is outside. Fair ball. They're going to get the lead as a couple runs will score. Hayward in. Wong scores. Two-run double, Tony Cruz, 10-8, St. Louis.
It's been all about the pitching for the Cardinals of late, but they're flexing their muscles here tonight in a very bizarre way. Big first inning, then did nothing until the sixth. 2 runs on 4 hits last inning, and another uprising here in the seventh.
Pete Kozma. Russell throws him out, 2 away. Cruz now at third. Gonzalez, German, up in the bullpen. Two in the sixth, four here in the seventh. And the Cardinals have their first lead of the night. So how about Matt Adams out of the lineup? Yadier Molina out of the lineup. And it's Reynolds and Cruz. Doesn't matter who starts these days. That is foul off the foot of Jay.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of wacky stuff lately. Look out. Secret weapon almost got smoked.
Cubs will have 2, 3, 4 up in the eighth. Coghlan, Rizzo, Bryant, and now we're getting near that who would close for the Cardinals situation. Now that they have the lead, probably won't be Rosenthal. Russell to Rizzo, and the inning ends, but a lot of damage done. Cardinals now lead by 2. At bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet.
And here's the veteran Matt Belisle. Been around a good long while now. Broke in with the Reds way back in 2003. Did some starting earlier in his career. Moved on to the Rockies. Had a long run there. This is his first year with the Cardinals, and he's put up good numbers.
Belisle to Coghlan for strike one.
And there are those good numbers, an 0.90 earned run average. Mostly fastballs and sliders, but he'll mix in the occasional curveball and change as well.
This will be 4 out of 5 for Belisle. Choate has worked in 4 in a row, though he's a loogie. And 5 out of 6. Manus 3 in a row. Rosenthal 3 in a row and 4 out of 5. Segrist 4 out of 5. All these extra inning games, they've been a very busy group. Diving stop, Mark Reynolds, stop it. Stop it, Mark.
Well, the veteran's having a heck of a night, isn't he?
Boy, is he
At
ever.
the plate and in the field.
He's trying to grab the top of your coveted 3-star selection.
Yes, he is. Well, it's a huge out because Rizzo now can only pull the Cubs within 1 with a long ball. Can't tie the ball game.
In there on Rizzo. Aren't baseball uniforms great? Those stripes on the Cardinals socks. Usually 1 or 2 guys a year even show those stripes.
Yeah, I like that. I like that look. Like the old school. Well, there it is again. That occasionally good enough outside pitch for a strike. This time it comes at a very inopportune time for Rizzo. Well, according to our graphic, it was on the corner. My apologies, John. Speaking of umpires, John Tumpain, the third base umpire tonight, Chicago area guy.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Oh. He looks thrilled.
He probably had plans to celebrate his birthday.
Strike 3 to Rizzo.
Well, you see how stingy Belisle was. He was able to get the strikeout without really throwing the ball over much of home plate. That's quality work there by Belisle. Brings a starting pitcher's repertoire to the relief role. Mixes his pitches, a command guy who's not going to overpower you.
Two strikes on Bryant 3 walks and a single for Chris. And one of the walks, the bat started 0-2. In on the hands. Bullpen might get reinforcements here the next day or two. Anthony Varvaro on that waiver claim from Boston. You could see him as part of the mix. I mentioned Denorfia left after aggravating his hamstring, so might see a roster move there in the outfield. Cubs trying to come back late after giving up an early lead. Chris did not look very happy, did he, when he left? I think he knew that it was that hamstring again. Ball 4. 5 trips, on base all 5 times. He's got a game plan.
Yeah, he's an impressive young hitter. So now he does his job getting on base and giving an opportunity to Montero, who's been the Cubs' best hitter over the last week or so. Single double tonight in 4 trips. Montero probably saw a fair bit of Belisle when Belisle was with the Rockies and Montero was a D-back.
Belisle's been a busy guy, at least 65 games each of the last 5 seasons.
Montero is 1 out of 13 against Belisle in his career. The one, a long one.
Seth Maness up in the home bullpen.
Gee, almost like he's pitching around him. Cruz set up. Look how far off the corner is. That was on 2-0.
Strike 1. Here comes Castro.
That was really peculiar. That was really interesting. And maybe Belisle just has a real, the 1 out of 13, the home run against him, maybe it was traumatic. Maybe it was a game winner or something. But all of a sudden he wanted no part of Montero like he was Barry Bonds, and he represents the tying run.
Derek Lilliquist is the Cardinal pitching coach. Jonathan Herrera will run for Montero, so David Ross will have to catch. this is what Joe Madden does. He's going to empty the bench now that he's trailing. Going to do what he has to do to tie it or take the lead here late.
Castillo is hit. Lake has been used. That will leave Soler on the bench.
Remember, I asked him if he had ever pitched. He said no. Well, maybe in the 19th he will. One and 0 on Castro. The pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. No, he went 1-1. Cubs have taken 7 walks in this one. Good call made by Bill Welke.
Looking for a breaking ball, and Belial slipped a piece of cheese right by him, right over the heart of the plate.
Soler may get a chance at some point here in these final 2 innings. A 1-2 to Castro. He stays alive.
Spoiled a good one. Pulling off of it a little bit, but able to keep the hands through the zone and get a piece.
Ready now for the 1-2 offering, and a ground ball to Peralta. He's going to throw to first. Castro hustling, but he's out by a half a step. Cubs cannot convert. That looks good. Benny's Beverage Depot toast of the game. Tony Cruz in a rare start back of the plate. Driving into, turning an 8-8 tie into a 10-8 Cardinal lead in the seventh.
Probably a lot of Cardinal fans were wondering, why aren't they using Molina here? Cruz comes up large. Well, it's been Wood, Mott, Koch, Strop, Roskup, and now German. Came in yesterday, threw one pitch, got one out. Coming on the heels of a couple rough outings. Herrera stays in at second, and Russell goes to short.
Strike called on Matt Carpenter, so Addison Russell playing his natural position for the first time at this level. So that means Castro is out. He made the final out of the eighth. Swing and a miss. 2 strikes. Good change up there by German.
Really impressive the first couple times he pitched, and a couple ugly ones before yesterday. Fastball, changeup, slider.
He got him on the change.
A rare 2 strikeout night for Carpenter. A very good changeup from German. That's the thing that grabbed our attention when we first saw him, that changeup.
Good fastball to Holiday. One ball, one strike. Haven't had much time to check on the rest of baseball tonight because of this crazy one here in St. Louis. I mentioned Milwaukee coming back and winning under Craig Counsell. Nationals beat the Marlins 6-4. So the Nats are within 1 of the 500 mark. Blue Jays over the Yankees tonight. R.A. Dickey got his first win. 3-1 Toronto the final. Tampa Bay went into Fenway and beat the Red Sox 5-1. Minnesota edged Oakland 8-7. Phil Hughes did get his first win.
He used the force.
He did. Phillies won at Atlanta 5-2. 3-1 on Holiday. The Astros lost 2-1 the final to end their 10-game winning streak. The Rangers got a run in the 8th and then a sac fly by Robinson Chirinos in the 9th. Strike. Boy, Holiday 3 different times has taken off for first base thinking he took ball 4, only to have it called a strike. Lake, Ross, Russell, the 3 due in the 9th. First things first. And ball 4 on a fastball. Didn't like that first mitt. Let's try something new. They were rained out in Colorado, the Diamondbacks and Rockies. Should be two. Russell, Herrera, and Rizzo. Probably saw that combo in spring training at some point. Let's go to the ninth. 10-8 St. Louis. Hirschbeck looked like he was making more than just a pitching move, but as we look around the diamond, the only change we see is Manus on the mound, so Mike went back out. I don't know if he's asking about the Cubs lineup or what, but
yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. And between conversations with Matheny, Hirschbeck had one with Joe Madden.
So here is Manus.
Maybe straightening out who was where in the lineup for the Cubs. Yeah, and I think it's David Ross has been listed as the 8-hole hitter, but I think he's supposed to be in the 6th spot. I think that's what the confusion was about.
Got you. Right. Yep. So Soler is on deck. You'd love to see Late get on and bring that tying run up.
Manus, a sinker baller. A lot of ground ball outs. Got to force him up in the zone.
He's in for the normal closer, Rosenthal. Lined right at Wong. Bad luck for Junior Lake.
That's horrible luck. He scalded that ball. Watch how quickly this gets on Wong.
Now Soler, the pinch hitter. Prior to tonight, he had not only started every game, he had played every defensive inning in right. Swings and misses at the slider. Third season in the big leagues for Maness. He's had at least one save in each of those 3 years. Five in all. The winning pitcher, if this holds up, would be Sokolovic. Starters will get no decisions. Martinez and Travis Wood. Inside that time, 3-1. Top to the shortstop, Peralta, 2 outs.
Oh, if Maness is able to finish the Cubs off here, Mike Matheny will feel like he stole one. Down 5 after the top half of the first on a night when he's got an exhausted bullpen. His closer's not available. This lineup responds to the challenge. It's been the pitching that has led the way for the Cardinals, but man, the hitters have got it done tonight.
Strike one to Russell. Strike two. Maness not messing around. Deep drive left field. Holiday back. It's going to go. It's a 1-run ball game. Russell with his second. And this is his first career multi-hit performance. They're not done yet. 10-9.
Boy, did that ball jump off that kid's bat. My goodness, what a swing that was. Got that low ball in the air. Big time. There's your Ford home run replay. That is a pretty stroke.
Now Dexter Fowler hit a game-winning homer at Colorado early in the season. Strike one. Lined, caught by Reynolds, and that's the ball game. So Russell homers to get the Cubs within 1. They hit the ball hard throughout this 9th inning, but Maness will get the save. A wild full moon type ball game tonight.
Yeah, crazy ball game. If there's a silver lining for the Cubs, it is that the bats broke out after being quiet for the better part of a week. They had a nice night tonight. Normally 9 is enough to get it done. Just was not the case here this evening.
So the Cardinals now have won 7 in a row, and the Cubs will try to snap a 3-game skid tomorrow night. Once again, our final score, the Cardinals 10, the Cubs 9. We're back with you on CSN Wednesday night at 7 for Game 3 of this series. Now for JD and our entire CSN crew, Len Casper inviting you to stay tuned for Blue